Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass, your weekly automotive podcast hosted by two rather uninformed enthusiasts.
No.
I'm Sam from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
And you can watch us each week. We hope you enjoy the episode. I want to kick things off, though, with my big LA adventure.
Yeah, are you still jet lagged?
So jet lagged. I really regret not getting an extra coffee just before we sat down to record this. I am spaced out. I have no idea who I am, where I am. I landed at...
Welcome to my world.
Yeah. You're not jet lagged, you're just confused.
Yeah, just don't know what's going on.
I landed at 11 a.m. yesterday. I was there for 3.5 days, so I don't think I ever really got on LA time. I just kind of went with the flow, and that's always my remit. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a long way to go for such a short trip, but I prefer that.
Do you?
Because it's like in, achieve, leave. Like you don't really, you just get on with it.
Yeah, fair.
You are constantly a little bit tired, but you can survive. If you're there for like a week or 10 days, you have to adjust, and that's when it's more brutal, I think.
Well, we did, didn't we? When we went, we adjusted, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then, like, you're right, as we adjusted, it was time to come home.
Yeah, that's the killer. And coming back, I think, so west to east, I always think is worse.
I would agree.
Yeah, so
100%.
we struggled on the way back. But I seem okay-ish.
You don't look okay.
Halfway through this, I suddenly collapse. You'll know exactly what's happened. But yeah, so straight after the tour, well, a couple of days after the tour, to be fair, I jetted off for multiple reasons, but primarily to attend this big Porsche-related show, Air Water.
Well, I'll tell you something as well. I'm not angry with you, but I saw what you was up to and I thought, bastard, why didn't he invite me? Because I don't get too excited about stuff like that, but mate, I would have loved that. I'd have been right in my element in there.
It's funny you say that because I didn't think that would be the case.
Because it never normally is.
No, and I said as much. I ended up doing an episode with our sisters from another mister.
The brothers, mate.
Brothers from another mother's.
Yeah.
Spikes Car Radio, our sister show in America. Oh, they're lovely.
They are lovely.
What wonderful people.
Yeah.
And I said, I thought you would have hated Air Water. Because they're like, where's Tony? I was like, oh, that would have been his worst nightmare. But you think otherwise, do you?
No, because it's just some of the stuff that I saw and... what's that lad's name who does all the? Is it PTRS?
PTSRS. Will.
So
yeah.
Will was there. I saw some of his, and I thought, well, do you know what? The sun was shining, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, that would have been a nice couple of days. I could have overlooked some of the piles of poo that were there, but there was some nice stuff there, right?
Oh, mate. Okay, so
fuming.
Firstly, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I think I did mention at some point, you went, mate, I've been away for a week. I've got to go back to work.
Yeah, I probably did,
I've got a business to run.
Yeah.
If I'm, without getting too carried away, this was arguably the greatest 3 or 4 days I've had.
See, I knew.
In the last few years. This was, for me, LA at its best.
Bastard.
Yeah. Long-term viewers of the main channel will know I love that city. Like, I really love that city.
Yeah.
But my love had tempered a bit. Like, I thought our trip there a couple of years ago was good, but maybe not spectacular. We were working hard. We didn't really get a chance to embrace the culture. We were just kind of going from video shoot to podcast shoot to whatever.
Yeah.
This was me diving head first into specifically Porsche culture in California, but general culture. So I landed from my flight. I pick up an amazing 1971 911 S Targa, rented through Turo, which we used for those the Shelby GT500 and the Corvette. We'll come back to that in a second. I then drove immediately to Matt Farah, Smoking Tire HQ at West Side Collector Storage, a WSC.
He's a nice lad as well. I've never met him, but I've seen him.
Oh, I love Matt. I've known Matt in terms of like content creator. He's one of the people I've known the longest, weirdly.
Right.
Yeah, I met him way back in like 2016 or something like that. Right. And he's always just been so friendly and nice. And I find him fascinating because he's been in the game for a long time. And I said, look, I'm coming to town. Let's catch up. I'll grab a coffee or something like that. He said, let's do a show. So I was like, great. So I went and did a Smoking Tire episode. Got a chance to check out his storage facility.
Fair.
Which I had last
Impressive.
seen as he was building it. The
Right.
last time I went to see it, he was literally mate, it's so impressive.
Is that his main focus now? Or?
Well, that's what I asked him. I said, how does this sit? Because obviously all of us that create content online, at some point we have to think about businesses outside of digital platforms.
the end game.
Well, not necessarily the end game, but just other sources of revenue that don't
yeah.
rely on algorithms and digital content. Because you've got to have some kind of, not necessarily bricks and mortar business, but something. Anyway, so that's what I said. I said, when you wake up and you start your week on a Monday, how do you prioritize your to-do list? Like, what comes top? He didn't answer me.
He don't know yet.
I don't think he knows.
He hasn't worked it out.
Because, mate, he's got so much going on.
Yeah, fair play.
He's also, I think he's editor at large at Road and Track. He's definitely a big deal at Road and Track magazine, which is maybe America's Evo, I guess you could say.
So he keeps himself busy.
Keeps himself very busy there. Then he's obviously got the podcast, he's got the main channel, does a lot of other sort of events, and then he's got the car storage business. But it was very impressive. They
got a team that helps him.
He had
fair.
3 or 4 people employing. But then on the social side, he's got Zach, who he brought onto the channel. I don't know how long ago that was. Must have been 4 or 5 years ago now. But yeah, very cool setup there. Studio, mate. I got studio envy.
Did you?
I mean, he did say, look, I built this entire facility like bespokely so I could create an entire room. He said, like, the floors are sound dampened.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it is. It was. Walk in, it's like.
But owns the building?
Good question. I don't know.
Fair.
I don't know if he owns the building. But just really, really impressive setup. Had some really cool cars in. We did a great show. I made some notes for us. Good. He was live on Patreon. So the minute where he's live on Patreon, they get it like a week early. And I was just like, obviously our foray into our live streaming didn't quite work out. I'm wondering whether we look at bringing old Patreon back. He had a good Patreon setup, mate.
Yeah. I mean, we did used to do it, didn't we? Release episodes early to Patreon and stuff. And
we used to do it. I think our whole thought was, if we're going to bring it back, it's got to have added value, right? Because we toured with Recast last year. That was our aim, was to kind of, add ways that people could enjoy the content. But anyway, long story short, it didn't work out. So, I liked it. I asked him some questions, but he was live on Patreon. He had different levels. They get different. But anyway, so watch this space. I got some notes from Matt on that, but that was good fun. They
comment if you'd like to see Patreon come back.
If you'd like, because they live streamed episodes, and they were all submitting questions during the live stream. So there was a way to interact with the audience directly. Some really good questions as well. I found that interesting. But yeah, he's a super nice guy.
There's some value to that, mate, as well, by the way. Just because we do other stuff now, like there's other stuff we can offer them.
Early access to the tours.
Exactly. That's literally what I was thinking.
VIP meet and greets at the podcast.
Exactly. Because we do lots of other stuff. We don't just sit here anymore. We've expanded
We're out and about, mate.
Our portfolio.
I've always wanted a portfolio of business products.
Yeah.
It's like when people say, what was the word that I had a really good one? When you are technology, we are. I said it for the GT3 belts. The guy who installed my seats in the GT3, the rear seats, they have a technology which is it's like trademarked. Now I'm forgetting the word. That's the jet lag kicking in.
Copyright?
No, it's like a very Shark Tank Dragon's Den word.
Okay.
We've come up with anyway.
Patent?
No.
Okay, fine. You were so bad at this.
No, I'm really good. It's just the jet lag hitting hard. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, watch this space picture. So anyway, I went from Smoking Tire, then went off to the Peninsula in Beverly Hills, arguably one of the greatest hotels in the world. Checked in, I was like, this is bloody lovely. Had the Targa parked outside, all glorious. The next day, let's come back to the next day. Saturday was Air and Water. Saturday night I did an episode of Spike's Car Radio. And Sunday, I spent the morning with Spike.
Lovely.
Johnny Lieberman, who you didn't meet, and Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
So we got so much to discuss in this episode about my trip because it was outrageous. So, okay, let's come back to this. Let's do it in order. So I've already touched on Matt and arriving at the hotel. The next morning, so Friday morning, I thought, right, I've defeated my jet lag. Let's get up. Had about 5 coffees, brilliant breakfast. And I was like, I'm going to head up into the canyons and start my video with this 911 Targa.
In the old Porsche.
In the old Porsche.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
my thing was, if I'm going for air water, it's a Porsche weekend, I'm doing Spike's car radio, I'm going to be hanging around doing all this. I should rent a cool Porsche.
Yeah, fair.
And I found this one in Truro, 1971. Look, the tits. It was in gold. Old Targa. It was a very early car. So you got to think, like 1971, that's an early 911. It's even...
Bloody is.
Yeah,
50 years
gearbox.
old.
It's a 901 gearbox, not even a 915 gearbox. It's the dogleg gearbox, like really old, early car. And I was like, that's
Is that
amazing.
a 4 or 5 speed?
It's a 5-speed, but yeah, dogleg first up until 5. And then I think the 915 gearboxes, which came in at 73 or 72 or 73, they then went to a more traditional...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, without the dogleg. So as far as I believe and understand. So I was super excited, and from the minute I picked it up, I was like, "This is like what an experience."
Yeah.
However, shoddy is what I would, I definitely had
Well used?
lived a life.
Yeah, fair.
But the guy was renting a Hero called Dieter, German guy, loved him, super friendly, and the car in essence was fine, but just a lot of squeaks coming from the suspension that were a little unnerving, like. Just a bit, just a bit ratty, but from a distance, unbelievable. And as an overall experience, spectacular. But anyway, off I went.
It broke, didn't it? Not him.
It did break, yeah. Off I went on Saturday morning, off to film. Did a few intro shots, rolling down the hill, approaching a traffic light, and I went to Rev Match.
Rev Match?
Oi, oi, mate.
Check you out.
Oi, oi. Went for the throttle pedal, and the throttle pedal was like just disconnected. Like there was no weight to it, no resistance. It was just flopping around, and obviously no revs built. So I was like, oh no.
Cable come off, right?
Well, okay, so I ditched it into a side road.
Oh my God.
Handbrake on, and I'm like trying to rev it. Nothing's happening. The pedals are flopping everywhere, and nothing's going on. But I could hear something rattling around in between the seats underneath the floor. So that was my thought. I said, okay, the throttle cable must have popped off something. It must be a connection. And I've been coming down the hill. We've hit a bump, and it's just popped off.
Popped off.
Lol.
Coming down the hill.
So I'm like, hey, let's get my hands dirty. Maybe I can...
You didn't lay underneath the car, mate.
Of course I didn't. I called Dieter and I said, Dieter, we have a problem.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, okay. I'm on my way. I'm about 45 minutes away. And you know what? For the first, usually that would have stressed me the hell out. I'd flown all the way to California. I hadn't even started my video yet. Friday was my filming day because Saturday I was going to be at the show all day. Mm-hmm. Sunday I had a different plan prior to Jerry inviting me down to go and check out the cars and go for a drive.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is my chance to film this car. But I was like, it's California. I'm in the sunshine. I'm in a car that everyone is complimenting. So I was literally on the side of the road. Everyone like, great car, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful colour. And I didn't say that on Broken Down. I was like, yeah, thank you. Always pretended like it was mine.
Did you go and find a coffee somewhere?
No, because I was in the middle of it. It's a Coldwater Canyon for any LA residents.
Middle of the road, basically.
Literally middle of nowhere. I mean, there was just residentials. And then something happened, which I've got to be honest, it's the first time in a really long time I was annoyed that somebody watches my channel. Because I was on the side of the road trying to think, how do I rescue this? And the guy starts walking up the road from his house. Young guy. And he's looking and he's noticing the car. And I thought, okay. And he comes to the window and he goes, seen through glass. And I was like, oh, hey, man.
Hello.
Yeah, he goes, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm here for air water. He goes, what a beautiful car. Did you buy this? I went, no, I'm renting it. It's a rental? No way. I was like, yeah. He goes, that's my Ferrari over there. And I was like, oh, cool. And I turned around. It was a 456 with liquid everywhere. He goes, yeah, the power steering broke. I was like, oh, no. So we had a really nice chat for 10 or 15 minutes. I was like, this is perfect. What a perfect way to spend a breakdown.
Yeah,
he was a lovely guy. He was into his Ferraris. Great. Then the problem began. Because he then didn't get the hint that the conversation was over. And I'm not usually like this, but I was like, okay, so I've got a separate, I need to film something. The car's broken down. I'm a little bit, you know me when I'm flapping.
Oh, mate, it's your worst nightmare.
So my brain's kind of going how do I save this? So I was like, okay, I now need to wrap this up and focus back on the car. So I was like, oh, dude, well, look, I'm gonna film some bits on my camera. great to meet you. We even exchanged numbers, dude, because he's got a beautiful fire. So I'm going to film with him in the future. He was that nice a guy. His cars were that nice. But I just needed him to move on.
You didn't want him to talk anymore.
I didn't. I was like, we're going to spend probably like a few days together when I come back in the summer because your cars are so great. So let's wrap this up so that I can then get back to work and create some content.
And by the way, for people that don't know Sam, he doesn't do this to fans, but he does do this in life really often. Like when he's finished saying what he's got to say, okay, I'm going now, goodbye. Or if he's at an event or something and he's finished what he's got to do, it's see you later, I'm out. But it's so funny.
But at the same time, I despise being rude.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I could have just been like, cool, bro, bye.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, he was super nice, this guy.
Yeah.
So we then ended up in this awkward shuffle because then I was like, so I was like, okay, so I'm going to do a piece to camera, i.e. like maybe get the hint that he goes, cool. And he folded his arms and stood by the side of the car.
Watching you.
Yeah. And then that made me flap because I'm like, now I'm under pressure. Now I got to perform to an audience. So I'm like, okay, what do I say? So I do like 2 takes and he's like, wow, like I didn't know this is how it all works. So what camera is that? And I'm going, oh, bro,
please.
It's a GoPro. Which GoPro do you use? I'm like, this is the like 10. I had a 9. I'm going, oh. And I said, no. So this went on for about 45 minutes. So if you're listening, dude, I've even forgotten your name, but you were lovely. But I'm sorry if by the end, I think I then started to do maybe I became rude at the end. That's why I'm saying
I don't think because you're not a rude person. I just think you become a bit shorter.
Yeah, I got guilt. That's why I'm
Yeah.
addressing this now. So I have a bit of guilt because I feel like maybe towards the end I just stopped answering. Like that was I was like, I can't tell you to leave, so I'll just stop responding.
Yeah.
So a bit of guilt there. Anyway.
You're lucky because if I was there, mate, I'd have just said like,
But that's what I mean. And I told this story to some other people the weekend. They said, you should have said like, bye.
yeah, bye.
I'm like, no.
We couldn't go
like,
nowhere because his car's broke.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I was like, you know, and I also want to film his Ferraris at some point, so I don't want to be that rude. I don't know. As I say, I'm still struggling with it a few days later, so I need to move on. Anyway, Dieter finally turned up, looked at the car. No throttle cable. They use rods.
Rods.
Throttle rod.
And one of them come off?
Sheared off. He's like, I can't understand this. He's like, this is the weirdest problem I've ever seen in my life. I was like, me too.
Right.
Anyway.
He had another one to give you?
He opened up the engine bay. He put a little rubber nodule underneath the manual throttle, because obviously back then you could have a manual throttle in the throttle bay. So he could get it to like 1,500, 2,000 RPM. So then he just basically drove it off. But he'd come in a 993 Cabriolet and he said, you take that, I'll be back with you in 5 or 6 hours. The 993 Cabriolet was arguably one of the worst Porsches, just in terms of condition. It was shoddy. Yeah. So that day was a bit of a write-off. But who cares? I was in LA, I was having a nice time. And he bought the Targa back. 8 p.m. or something like that, bought the Targa back.
Fixed it.
So that was lovely. So then let's move on. Air water. So this is from the team behind Luftgekühlt.
No idea.
Yeah. It's a super exclusive Porsche event aimed at air-cooled or liquid-cooled Porsches. It's usually like 40 or 50 of the most incredible, insane, rare Porsches you'd never seen before that were in the most incredible venues. They've used like film studios before, abandoned army bases. Like, you know, it's all set up so that you walk and you're like, wow, the cars are like just displayed in the most beautiful way ever. But this event is the opposite to that. This is supposed to be their mass event.
So there's all sorts there.
No, all Porsches.
No. As in, not just air and
no. So not just water cooled or liquid cooled, air cooled as well.
Right.
It allows in. Sorry, I got that wrong, haven't I?
You got it the wrong way round.
I got it the wrong way round.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there was all modern stuff there as well.
All modern stuff.
Right.
So all the air cooled stuff. Luftgekühlt was the air cooled stuff. Thank you, Tony.
No problem.
The modern stuff is the water liquid cooled stuff, which is what's allowed into air water.
Yeah.
So 1,100 cars.
Yeah.
1,100.
Do you think that the Porsche community is the biggest car community in the world now?
It's a great question. I think potentially. I think the California Porsche community is not just one of the biggest globally, but also one of the most enthusiastic.
Because I can think of two that are probably definitely bigger than the Porsche culture.
Oh, go on.
Ford. Around the world is insane, the Ford car community. RS and all that jazz.
What's the
Mustang?
Ford car culture in Thailand?
No idea.
Because I'll tell you, the Porsche car culture in Thailand is wild.
Is it through the roof? Yeah,
through the roof.
And probably the JDM car culture.
Yeah, so I would be I think JDM, you're probably onto something, because I do think globally it has been until recent years the entry level for petrolheads, right? And therefore
And
Ford, but I think I think Ford outside of America and some parts of Europe isn't that big. Of course, American car
big
culture,
here in the UK.
yeah, but
Huge.
dude, but we're a tiny nation in the grand scheme of things.
Not in Europe for cars, we're not. But
Yeah,
I
but-
know what you mean. But
you know, Ford products in Europe, is there as bigger, like mainland Europe?
I think that we buy most of them. As in, what I mean is, it's so big here, it sort of contemplates for most of Europe.
But I think the thing with Porsche, which is exactly what I learned with Drive the World, the reason why people say, oh, why did you take a Carrera T on Drive the World? And if you're going to Drive the World 2.0, why are you going to take another Porsche? Is because every single country we went to, every single country, I was inundated by Porsche people that wanted to open their arms up to us, wanted to share their cars. It is a global obsession. I don't think that's the same necessarily for Ford.
Fair.
Because I think Ford is very different in different countries. In America, it's trucks. Yes, here it's hot hatches and RS products. I think in Australia, it's fast saloons.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're different things for different... So, but Porsche it is a global...
It'll be up there for sure.
disease.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It'll definitely be up there.
The thing which I question is, could any other manufacturer have done what Air Water did? 1,100 cars from the same manufacturer and close to 10,000 people, all obsessing over and freaking out over Porsches.
Well, what's that big Ferrari event at Silverstone? I mean, that's fairly outrageous as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fair,
there's
or
definitely...
Finale Mondiale. I mean, that's the Ferrari Challenge Day you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or Finale Mondiale.
When
It's
all
gotta
the
be.
Ferraris turn up at Silverstone.
Yeah.
Millions of them.
Or Finale Mondiale. It's the same thing in the World Finals in Italy. Yeah, you're probably close, but I think feet on the ground. Yeah, maybe Ferrari are the other ones that could do it. Lambo do them as well.
But obviously, worldwide, Porsche, in terms of the number of cars, it's not even close.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, and the cars are more accessible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's definitely more Porsches in the world than there are Ferraris. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. It was super impressive, I have to say, because the other thing which blew my mind is there were close to no duplicates on display. So of the 1,100 cars, very few of them were identical. Okay, fine. Yes, the models were. You had, 5 GT4 RSs, but all different and unique specs. And that was refreshing to walk around a show of 1,100 cars and everything be a little bit different and a little bit interesting and have a story. The setup wasn't like wild, like it's the Orange County Fairground, so it's essentially a big car park.
Would have to be for 1,100 cars.
Yeah, literally. But no, it was super cool. I'm trying to think what stood out. There was a super rare Carrera GT. Had black satin carbon roof, white Alcantara interior and blue paint. That was
Nice.
pretty mad. I'm trying to think what you would have liked. There wasn't a lot which you would have liked, mate.
No.
Like one or two, maybe one 918 Spider. Some interesting GT2 RSs.
But it's good. It's good that there was only one.
Yeah,
Because
agreed.
When there's 7 or 8, you just get a bit like...
But that's what I mean. That's why the show was very clever in that
Yeah,
sense.
fair.
You know, that they could have inundated it with lots, but there wasn't. It was all a big variety and just really cool stuff. And yeah, I was there for about 4.5 hours and felt like I barely skimmed the set. Like it felt too quick. You know, so
I
saw
could have
some cool-
educated myself because there'd have been a lot of them I didn't... Just because I don't like old guys, don't mean I don't appreciate them. I
For
would
sure.
have liked to look at them. I just wouldn't have wanted to drive any of them.
And there were amazing people there in terms of educating.
Yeah.
You know, Magnus Walker was knocking around. Obviously, Will, which you just mentioned from PTSRS, Amer as well, but also PTSRS. The guys from the GT3 belts, they were amazing, super cool. Obviously, they had their stand, so I did a bit of a meet and greet there on their stand. But there are lots of people that could have showed you around and said, you know, Brock 996 Road Trip, had a good catch up with him. So it was an amazing show, amazing show. And my little Targa that I rented made it there and back Nice and easy. An hour-long drive. Absolutely fine. Happy
Nice
days.
cruise. You have the
Cruised
roof
on the
down?
motorway, roof off. Had the earphones in so I could listen to some music and just walla cruise. Had a lovely old time.
Lovely.
So yeah, crazy show. I've got some highlights coming in a main channel video soon. I would like to go back for the smaller, the Luftgekühlt show. I think that would be cool to get more exclusive. Anyway, went back to town, did the Spikes Car Radio episode, which maybe went out the day before this one's gone out. Depends when you're listening to this episode, but that will probably be out by now. That was hilarious fun. And yeah, obviously you met Spike and Zuckerman last time.
Yeah.
They also had Johnny Lieberman there, who's a big US journalist, and that was tons of fun. But as I was on my way there, because we did that around 7 p.m, Spike texted me saying, when do you head back? And I was like, I'll head back from the show. Like, do you want to do the podcast early? He goes, no, when do you head back to London? Jerry's in town and would love to meet you. And I was like,
sick.
Jerry who? But I was like, I will cancel my plans. Tell me when and where. And
I should change my flight.
Literally, because I was supposed to be doing a drive up Angeles Crest where we went the next morning with Amer and Will from PTSRS, and I was going to be borrowing a 992 Touring from the GT3 bus. So I was like all set to go and leave. I was like, cancel. And I was like, no, I can cancel that. Let's go and do something. So we went and met up at Jerry's hangar around 10 o'clock in the morning. Super cool. First time I had a chance to meet Jerry himself. He gave me a shout out, for those of you that don't know, on Spike's show maybe like 3 years ago now. That's how we ended up, meeting Spike and ending up on his show. So it was kind of wild to hear, 2 or 3 years ago, they asked, Jerry, what are his favorite YouTube channels? And he said, I like this guy's sound from Seen Through Glass, which was wild to hear. And just to clarify, because I don't know, firstly, generationally, but also here in the UK, I don't think Seinfeld was as big a deal as it was in the US.
No.
Even yesterday, I was speaking to somebody who said, oh yeah, yesterday morning I was hanging out with Jerry Seinfeld. And they were like, oh, why do I know that name? I was like, oh God. But I mean, it was Friends before Friends.
Yeah.
I think it was the biggest or highest grossing, sitcom for a long time. Obviously, Jerry Seinfeld, creator of and star of. And he is legitimately an A-list superstar in America. Huge comedian. He's just got this film coming out on Netflix now, which he co-wrote with Spike, Unfrosted. But yeah, he's a huge deal there. And I think that does translate here, but maybe not as much.
Yeah,
he's definitely a much bigger deal in America than maybe he is in the UK, at least generationally. But the other thing is he's a massive Porsche guy. Huge car guy, but massive Porsche guy. And one of the world's leading Porsche collectors. So his collection is wild.
Did you see some of his cars?
Saw some of his cars. Saw maybe, how many cars do I think were there? I think about 15 or 20 cars. Wild, man.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say what they all were because that's for him to talk about at any one time. But everything from super important vintage Porsches to brand new stuff that you would have loved to other quirky makes and models. Everything had an unbelievable story. Everything was immaculate. The garage itself, the hangar itself was stunning. Like just really cool. And I would say a great enthusiast, not to blow smoke up his bum, but in the sense where it wasn't a lecture. It was like, here's this. This is why I like it. Like, what do you think? And I never felt afraid to say, oh, that,
Like it didn't take me.
There was a car there that we've both spoken about before, which we're not fussed by, which he was very keen on, or everyone else there was very keen on. And I said, I'm not fussed by it. And they were all horrified. I had a big argument about it. But,
Big argument.
It was just super cool. And I was just like, this is mad. This is wild. Like, how is this my life that I'm here at 10:30 on a Sunday morning in California, looking around Jerry Seinfeld's cars, and he's like super interested by what I think. Like, this is not, I haven't won this in an auction.
No.
It was a wild experience. And then at the end, he's like, okay, well, what do you want to experience? I was like, what? He goes, let's go for a coffee. Let's go for a drive. What do you want to experience? I was like, all of them? So I forced him. I said, what should I experience? Like, I can't pick this. I would pick every single one here because it was that good. Like, it was everything. So he picked a 1959 356A Speedster GT. So this was one of the last 356 Speedsters. So you know the 356, the little sort of bubble early Porsche, that one we saw.
Yeah.
Speedster's obviously the roofless version, super narrow little windscreen.
Yeah.
This is a legitimate race car.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-cam, like Larry engine. It would have been the, Carrera Cup of its day, I guess.
Right,
proper Larry race car.
Yeah.
Totally original. Had amazing, whilst the car was gutted, nothing in it, it has these incredible, sort of almost wicker floor mats.
Yeah.
I was like, that's an amazing detail. Yeah. But you sit super low on the floor in these little old school buckets. Still some beautiful details. And starts up and it's like this little Aggie, little little engine.
What was it, like a 2 litre flat 4 or flat 6?
4, I think. I think it must be a flat 4. And must be 120 horsepower, something like that. And God knows what it weighs. Red thing, big old rollover thing. But it's there's something really adorable about it.
Yeah.
But then also super Aggie. And the thought that someone would have raced that flat out in period is mind-boggling.
Oh, it's terrifying, mate.
It's terrifying and mind-boggling, but amazing. And definitely one of the iconic cars. I'm going to bring up just so that I don't get anything wrong, because God bless Jerry. He was trying to give me all the information, and I was just there like, oh my God, I'm in California on a Sunday morning going for cars and coffee. Have you ever seen his show, Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee?
No.
So he did a huge Netflix show called Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee. You'd really like it, actually.
Would I?
Where he literally picks up a comedian, usually an American comedian, and goes for a drive in one of his cars or a car that he's borrowed for the show that he thinks is appropriate for that comedian. And they go and get coffee. And they just chat. Mm-hmm. You should really check it out.
Okay, fair.
I was literally living an episode of Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah,
he was
fair.
there giving the whole spiel, and I was like, what is this? What is my life?
Where's the camera?
Yeah, literally. And so a lot of it wasn't going in because I was like, I'm in a car with Jerry Seinfeld going to get coffee. But let me just bring up here. So extremely rare and desirable 4-cam 356A. So this is not his car, but this was another car. But even in a very select group, no. I think I've got everything right. 110 horsepower.
Yeah.
I think he said the red line was at 7,000 RPM, but here it says 6,000.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it was, but it was brilliant. It felt so capable on the road.
Yeah. Little skinny tyres.
Tiny little skinny tyres that are so inboard. They're so inboard. Anyway, off we went. Had a great time. He opened up a few bits. We had a laugh. Every single car we went, Jerry!
Really?
Jerry! And I was like, this is just wild. And we went up to have coffee in this kind of amazing, such an LA place. I couldn't even tell you what it was called. It was like this sort of almost felt like a gated community. Everyone was beautiful, so attractive. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here?
That's what they thought.
We went and got these smoothies that were $50 each because they said, we've got to do this, you've got to have the LA life. And everyone was giggling and laughing. And oh man, I was like, this is just one of the best experiences ever. We hung out, had a coffee. And then we went, okay, I've got to go back. I've got to get my flight. So Jerry said, no problem. I'll drive you back to the airport. You can get your car and off you go. So it's just me and him, and off we went, blasting down. We had a bit of a clearer stretch, so he, was keen to show off the car. And then suddenly,
flapping.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Really?
Policeman on a motorbike.
Wow.
And he went, oh, we got a cop. Is he pulling you over? He's like, I think so. So I'm like,
was you speeding?
Well, this is weird. It's hard to speed in that car.
Of
but
course.
we were cutting through the traffic. We were going faster than the other traffic.
Okay, fine.
So we find someone to pull over. And I was like, what do you think is going to happen?
On the freeway or just on a...
Yeah, on PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. Iconic, freeway. So he pulls us over into the thing and what do you think? And he goes, I don't know. So out we get. The cop says, I pulled you over. The cop's pretty polite to start with. And
you could have got shot.
Literally, that's what I'm thinking. Because I've seen clips of DDE where he gets out and goes, I'm going to kill you. And the officer says, you were speeding. This is a 45 zone. We're on a strict no leniency day.
No leniency day? Some days you get away with it?
Basically. I won't say what he was caught at because it's not my place to say.
No.
Let's just say it really wasn't fast.
Okay, fine.
We both laughed because I was like, it's quite depressingly slow actually because we both felt like we were bombing it. We were like, woo!
Because 45 kilometres is about...
No, miles an hour.
Oh, 45
they do miles an hour in America.
An hour.
Yeah, they do miles an hour in America.
Fun.
But the speed that we were clocked at because he showed us on the gun, we were both like, felt faster, got to be honest. So
I was going as fast as I could.
Yeah, and considering what other cars we saw on that road and what Jerry said as well, that's a road where people drive fast. So he was like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
Anyway, he goes, have you got license and ID? He gets the ID and he goes, Mr. Jerry Seinfeld, you got to be kidding me. Because Jerry had glasses on and a hat.
Didn't recognise him.
Didn't clock it. And then the cop is just like freaking out. And he goes, oh, man. Oh, come on, man. Like, no. Oh, well, okay, guys, take a seat back in the car. Oh, before this, by the way, when initially he'd said you were caught speeding, Jerry goes, this guy here is a very famous automotive YouTuber from the UK.
He probably should have said
I think I was trying to show off. And I was like, why are you blaming me?
What have you said that for?
Arrest the British guy? I was like, I got nothing to do with this. Like, come on, you're Jerry Seinfeld. Why are you pointing at like, oh, this really recognizable UK? So my mum knows who I am, no one else. So then we get back in the car, we're sitting down, and I just whisper, and I'm like, Jerry, I cannot fathom what your life must be like. I've just had like a little sneak peek into what your reality is, but I'm still bamboozled. He goes, I got to be honest. Usually they just say, nice to meet you, on your way, sir. So I'm a bit concerned that we haven't got my license back. I was like, oh God. He ends up getting a ticket.
Oh, wow.
A written ticket, fine, my man. And the guy says, look, I was a huge fan. I grew up watching your show, but it's a no leniency day. You got to give you the ticket. I'm sorry. Be safe.
Honestly, mate, only in America.
And that was the first time Jerry Seinfeld has ever got a speeding ticket.
So you're never ever going to see him again?
Literally. And I sent him a text saying, do you mind if I tell the story on the podcast? And he said, yeah, go for it. And that's the thing. And I genuinely like, oh my God, have I just caused Jerry Seinfeld to get a speeding ticket? Because he blamed me blamed it on me.
Yeah, rightly so.
And I thought he was just doing a bit because he's a comedian. But I actually then I got paranoid, a bit like with the guy that I didn't want to talk to with my broken down Targa.
Yeah.
Then for the rest of the time,
Karma.
I just kept thinking, oh, maybe he actually thought, oh, this stupid UK YouTubers made me show off. Now I got a speeding ticket. Because he was probably thinking, oh, if Sam wasn't with me, I would have just cruised.
Yeah.
So now I think Jerry Seinfeld hates me.
Well, that's what you get, mate. That's what you get for ignoring the other bloke in the first place.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry. I mean, Jerry's never going to listen to this. He's too busy. But yeah. But I mean, just one of the coolest experiences for a million reasons. Like, firstly, yeah, cool. The car was unbelievable. The collection, it was a perfect LA day. The whole situation. He was just such a great guy. Said amazingly nice things about not only me and the channel, but about you, mate.
Oh, it's very kind of him.
He said he really likes you. I said, oh, well, you know.
We wait till he meets me.
Yeah, that's literally what I said. I said, the problem is, what you don't understand is Tony would have really, really disliked all of these cars. He would have feigned enthusiasm, but then just not cared. I said, there's probably one car in this hangar that he would have gone, oh, that's cool. The rest of them, you would have really struggled.
But I would have been nice then gone in on them.
Yeah. I know. So you would have been polite.
Yeah.
And Joe's, oh, I like that. I like that. But yeah, so thanks to Spike for arranging that. I'm now trying to hook Spike up with a load of stuff. They said, we've got to get him to the UK.
Yeah,
so we're going to get both of those guys
lovely
to
to see
the UK.
him.
But yeah, so super special day. No video with Jerry, of course. Like, that was not an opportunity to whip out a vlogging camera.
No.
Like, let's make a video. So I was so grateful for the opportunity anyway. Snuck a little selfie at the end because I thought, just in case he does really hate me after the speeding ticket and never talks to me again, I should at least remember the occasion. But yeah, so I'm very grateful to those hot guys for hooking that up. And yeah, that whole trip, like, it was, as I say, I fell in love with that city all over again. Vicky is fuming because I came home. I said, I think we've got to reconsider moving to Los Angeles, babe. I was like, come on. Like, oh, I just love that place, mate. That place is for me. It is. Everything looks amazing on camera. They're my people. I like it.
They're my people. $50 movies.
Yeah, literally. That's my scene, mate. That is my scene. Anyway, what have you been up to, buddy?
Well, I've been at work, really.
How's that
Having
been?
a nice time.
Was it quite a cold, hard fallback to reality after the tour?
Well, I literally didn't have time to think, mate. So I literally landed. They were busy when I was away. And I've done like 15 cars last week.
Well done.
So I've been I literally haven't had time to think.
Stuff's flying out the door.
But I was like...
Saw the spider?
No, I've had inquiries on it.
Oh,
but,
well done.
I got about halfway through the week and it was still cold and horrible here. I mean, it's bloody May in a minute.
Yeah.
When you watch this, it will be May.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, I wish I was back in Portugal.
Or
driving
California
around.
with Sam, yeah.
Oh, in California with Sam, yeah. That's probably what made me really angry, because I'm sort of work, fuming, and I'm watching you thinking, bloody hell, he's having a lovely time. Again.
My job is a joke.
It's a complete joke.
But you managed to get through. And it's sunny now.
I got through, yeah. Well, summer's coming. And I really want to go out in my car, mate.
Which
Not
one?
here. I'm in the GT3.
What's your plan with that?
I want to go out in it somewhere. Not in this country. I want to go somewhere in it.
Where do you want to go?
Anywhere, mate. I'm fed up with. I want to go to Europe. I haven't driven it for 7 months, and it's come back from service, and I saw it the other day in the unit. I barely look at it, and I thought, I really want to drive that car now. It's been like 7 or 8 months.
Not to keep banging on about it, but this is the thing with LA, mate. And I was trying to explain this to a load of people I met over the weekend. They have it all, mate. They literally have amazing driving roads on their doorstep. That's why the car culture is different.
But it's the same driving roads, isn't it? Like once you've done them 2 or 3 times, would you find them boring?
No, because you can get out. It depends how committed you are.
Okay.
I mean, and also, who cares? Because if they're great roads and you've got 5 or 6 that you can pick and choose from, the fact that you can wake up at 6 a.m., go for an hour and a half blast, and then get on with your day, then it makes sense to own these cars. And yeah, as I say, you can drive for 2 hours. Like, they have a lot on that. Depending on how keen you want to be, you could do 3 or 4 days up the coast just doing driving roads.
Fair.
But I was trying to say, for us, we don't have that option. You
literally
minimum 4 hours. Get off to Wales or something like that. And even then, it's not the same. We don't always have the weather. They're always busy, our roads. The surfaces aren't always fantastic. They're narrow, they're tight, etc. So how do we relocate our businesses either to California or like mainland Europe? Can't we figure out a way if we okay, let's do a 3-year plan here, right? 6 months of the year, we slog it out here, mate. We suck it up. You sell some cars.
Yeah.
I do some videos.
I can still run my business abroad as long as I've got someone on the ground.
But then we should set up a BTG HQ, a caffeine and machine in
America.
Marbella. Well, California, of course, would be the dream. But I think that's a bit punch, isn't it? Relocating our families to California, that feels a bit aggressive.
Well, it's like, my daughter's nearly 8, so I can't. That's not a thing for me.
No, exactly.
At the moment.
But if we did something like Bilbao or Nice, somewhere that's easily connectable,
2 hours away,
hour and a half, 2 hour flight, ferry routes, driving routes, so you're not cut
come
off.
home at the weekend,
whatever it would be.
Yeah.
And we just base ourselves there. We do driving tours, we do live podcast events, easily accessible from a global audience, and we just have a lovely time.
But not Nice, mate, because it's not that nice until like now. It's
we
the
have to
weather.
go like Seville.
Yeah, you have to, because or like
Nice is all right.
Yeah, but it's not.
They do get rain.
Yeah, like a lot of it as well. Like until like about now, it starts to get hot now, don't it? I mean, Monaco Grand Prix, by the way, that's any minute now. It always rains.
Has been raining quite a lot recently, in recent years, yeah. I'm going down to the Historic next weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Can't wait for that, mate. Yeah, that'll be a vibe. I got a busy week next week. I'm doing a new Vantage drive as well.
Oh, actually, I'd be interested in what you think about that.
I got a bit of a it's a bit of a tight one. I'm on a tight schedule for that because I've got to get back. I've got to leave early from it, so I hope I've got enough time in the car. But I'm excited for that.
What does is that 911 Turbo that competes with, right? Turbo
they've
S.
taken it up a level.
Yeah, until the new one comes out, and that will go again, won't it? The 911 Turbo.
Yeah, 992.2 drives happen any second now as well. So that reveal's coming any minute.
Yeah, well, the Turbo won't be announced till next year. Will come the year after, but yeah, interesting.
Shall we talk about my Panamera?
Yeah.
Picked that up
I just saw it.
Yeah, 2 days before I flew to LA, went and picked up the Panamera. So that's the new daily. In case you missed the episode before the tour, I guess. Got myself a new daily.
Yeah.
Panamera 4 Hybrid. I'm ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
I drove it back from the dealership, which was 2.5 hours away. Took it to the airport, driven it around London a little bit. I think it's fantastic.
Lovely car.
It's so nice, mate. Very comfortable. It took me a while to figure out the CarPlay. I think I had the wrong cable. It's still got the small CarPlay screen. That's a bit annoying. Is it? 2018 car.
Yeah, fair.
But I will film not a reveal video, but I'll film a main channel video on it at some point. I'm aware that I'm doing like a lot of Porsche content at the moment. I'm never that upset by that. I know some people get annoyed.
Two of them, mate.
Well, I have 2 Porsches. I like Porsches.
Yeah.
People invite me to do cool Porsche stuff. It's just a bit of a Porsche takeover.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry
Spoken about Porsches this whole podcast.
Yeah, well, we sort of like Porsches.
Seen through Porsches. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. And I don't know if I spoke about it before. It's Carmine Red. Did we talk about that last time?
I mean, I'm not sure.
I didn't think I would want to keep it Carmine Red. I thought I was going to wrap it quite instantly or paint colour change it. But in the sunshine, it's kind of cool. I quite like the red, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's got the ivory or the white interior. I'm very happy with it, mate. I think it's going to suit me real good.
Yeah.
And just to poo-poo your whole MPG thing, averaging 34 to 35 MPG so far.
Well done, mate.
So I've been very happy with that. You're still happy in your truck, right? You wouldn't change the truck for a summer daily.
No.
You're not going to get anything for the summer in the UK.
I'm not that happy in the truck, but it just serves a purpose. It's very juicy. But it's a work tool, mate. I have to think it's a work tool.
So there's nothing that you think, now, because it is sunny today on the day of recording, that will last about 6 hours, but there's nothing that makes you think, it'd be nice to be in a AMG GT convertible for the summer, or, something wafty, Bentley GTC, not fussed.
Well, that means I've got to either buy it personally or pay company car tax. No thanks for work. Yeah, cost me a fortune. It's not. I've never actually done that. But
you've toyed with it though. Every now and again, you've toyed with having a UK nice car
until the reality comes. Well, I had it with the Roma. I didn't drive it. Yeah. That's the problem. I've said this so many times. I've access to so many cars, but I don't actually drive them anyway anymore because it's just aggravation. You have to tax them. They're clean. Then they get dirty again. You have to keep putting fuel in them every time you change your car. It's just easy just to have one car, and then I just use the M3 when just a personal car.
To be fair, I forgot about the M3.
Yeah,
that is that car, isn't it?
That's the car. Yeah. But mate, sometimes it sits on my driveway for 2 weeks at a time. I don't use it.
But that's fine.
Yeah,
because then when we get into Goodwood Festival of Speed and British Grand Prix weekend and events that we may go to or want to attend, that's the car, isn't it? That's
what I'd bring. Yeah, same with the live event. Same, anything. If I go out for dinner with the family, we go in the car. So, but I use the truck all this. I've done 15,000 miles in it now. I've only had it 7 months, so I use it all the while.
Churning.
Yeah.
So, are you in it today?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I saw a nice Kia Sportage downstairs. Thought maybe you bought that in.
No.
Trying to tempt me into an old Sportage.
It's last of the old shape. You don't want that. You've poo-pooed it.
Yeah. The new Kia Sportage. I see them everywhere now. There's a green one that man.
That's nice colour, that green
so
as well.
Nice, that colour. I want us to go and get in some of these things. Kia Sportage, Nissan Qashqai, do a bit of a cheap car special.
Well,
no one will watch it, but I just want to enjoy it.
No, because they are brilliant cars, mate. Like new Ford Focuses and stuff.
What's the third car in that lineup? Sportage, Qashqai, and
Hyundai.
Hyundai what? Kona?
No, the one up from that. Is it not the Santa Fe? It's the one in between.
Okay.
I can't remember what one it is now.
There's a third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look into that.
But they're all very good.
Yeah.
Now it's amazing how much they've changed.
We got to get in some cars, I think.
Yeah.
I think we got to book in some press cars. So I'm going to change stuff up a bit, I think.
All right, good.
I thought about this on the flight back from LA because I had such a positive experience and such an amazing. And by the way,
You've been inspired.
Oh, well, I'm being very upfront with all of you here. I don't know what that video is. I had a lovely time.
What video?
The video from LA.
Oh.
Because you know what I mean? Like it just wasn't much of a video. It's me driving around in the 70s 911 going, this is amazing. And then looking at more Porsches and just having a lovely time.
Yeah,
and it felt like an old school STG vlog from 2017.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just really happy.
Yeah.
I'm really happy. And if I'm deadly honest with you, I really want to focus on making videos solely videos that I want to make, rather than like I've got a slot to fill, like, oh, I need to upload something on Sunday, or crap, I got to make a video. And just thinking, right, what do I want to film?
Yeah.
Like what car do I want to review? What experience do I want to have? And just focusing on that and enjoying that content.
But you've always done that to a certain extent, right?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
But I think I've not cut corners, but like I've always had to upload.
Yeah.
So I never, people always say, why aren't you rude about some cars, or why are you always so positive? Because I only film cars that I like to film.
Yeah.
If somebody offers me a car I'm not interested in, I say no. So not for me, because I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I'm always picky, but I want to change it up a bit where pressure's off. I film the cars that I want to film without that sort of thought of, what will this mean for the algorithm, the channel? I'm too into it. If no one watches me drive around in a 1970s 911, I still have a great time.
Yeah.
I want us to experience and get behind the wheel of some more cars and some more consumer-friendly cars.
Yeah.
Whether that's via Rate My Ride, or whether it's just us experiencing cars that we can talk about on here. Go and do press drives and test drives.
Well, there'll be so many people as well that listen and watch that will relate to that as well, by the way, because they're using it every day. Their wives have got them. There'll be so many people that go, oh, bloody hell, they're talking about that now.
But I think also, like, if you think about it, I get offered so many press loans and international press drives that either I can't attend, or I think I would just struggle to make a main channel video out of that. We should go, mate. And whether we're filming it or recording it or just talking about it the week after, we should go and get involved and utilise these. And then it also will help me I want to be a little bit more UK based.
Yeah.
A little bit more. Now the weather's getting good. So anyway, just to be upfront with you, a long think about it on the plane. I was like, it's nothing radical. Don't worry, guys, nothing's changed.
Nothing's going to change.
Just a slight tweak, because I'm probably 3 or 4 years into the same thing. So I'm just thinking, I'm just going to make a few little tweaks and changes. I'm not going to start rebuilding cars Matt Armstrong style. But
you wouldn't rebuild anything.
No, but I might get somebody else to. Yeah. So just
get Matt to do it.
A bit like you did. Like you inspired me last year when you made a few tweaks to your business.
I had to.
You changed them. You had to. I don't think I have to, but I want to.
Yeah.
I think it's good. And look at you now. You're in a good place.
But change is good, mate. And if you feel that something's wrong, just in general in your life, get rid of it and find something else.
Yeah.
It's just, that doesn't...
I don't think anything's wrong, but mate,
no.
This September, 10 years of Seen Through Glass.
Yeah.
And I always say I like to shake it up every now and again. That was where Drive the World came from, and various adventures before that. I did Vlog Angeles, Vlog Ari, and obviously my life's a bit different now with a baby. And I'm still somehow loving content creating.
Yeah.
And like this weekend re-inspired me and reinvigorated me to create content in a way that maybe over the last 3 years, every now and again, I don't always have that view. Sometimes I'm like, I'm just making a video because I have to make a video. Yeah. And I am pretty picky, but I just really want to just enjoy every moment and not feel that stress and pressure. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Just cut out the moments. And to be fair, this year, I can't think of one video this year that I've made for the sake of making it.
But you have in the past.
But I have in the past. I have in the past.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I realised. Because when the car broke down on Friday, I very nearly got on Instagram and started sending out DMs being like, okay, I've got to film something. And I thought, no, I'm just going to film the thing. I'm going to film these. And that was the moment I realised. I said, actually, just go with the flow and enjoy the moments, and don't think, well, I've got to fill a gap and go and film something that I wouldn't have cared that much about.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway, we'll be back with you next week for another episode, maybe a bit of a car news episode, because there has been some car-related news that we need to discuss, some reveals and some updates. And we are working furiously on the second trial BTG tour. We will announce next week an email or a newsletter or something that you can sign up to so that you will find out information about the tours in advance. That is coming soon.
Yep.
Anything else that we needed to announce or mention? I'm not sure there was.
I think we're all right for now. I think you covered all bases.
Ticking along, eh? So anyway, we hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to follow Tony between now and next week, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales on most social media platforms. I'm at Seen Through Glass, and this podcast is at Behind the Glass __podcast. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.